I once had a soul friend, someone with whom I could sit in silence and still feel deeply connected. But one day, as I shared with her the story of my first love, she looked at me with a strange expression, part touched, part heartbroken. She said, "I don't know why, but it feels like I just heard a part of my own childhood all over again." From that moment on, I started to notice, why is it that we sometimes feel an uncanny familiarity with people we've only just met? Why do some relationships ignite so quickly, burn intensely, and then vanish just as fast? Could it be that love doesn't arise simply from physical attraction, compatibility, or fleeting emotion, but from something much deeper, a realm of the unconscious that has yet to be named? Carl Jung, the great depth psychologist, devoted much of his life to answering that very question. According to him, when someone falls in love with you, it's not just you they're in love with. They're in love with the image you awaken inside them, an image that has always existed, tucked deep in their unconscious, waiting for someone to bring it to life. In today's reflection, we'll explore two profound reasons why someone might fall irresistibly in love with you, both rooted in layers of the psyche you might never have considered. This is a Jungian perspective that could radically shift the way you understand love and attraction. 1. You represent what the other person is missing. There's a fascinating psychological phenomenon that Carl Jung referred to as projection. In the realm of love, this occurs when someone sees in you something they've never truly possessed, never developed, or have long since lost within themselves. They don't fall in love with who you are on the surface. They fall for the symbolic essence you carry, which resonates with a part of their soul longing to be reconnected. Unconscious projection. Jung believed that every person carries within them incomplete pieces, aspects of personality that have been repressed, denied, or never had the chance to flourish. These reside in what he called the shadow, the dark, unacknowledged side of the psyche. And when we meet someone who embodies the qualities we've buried, confidence, freedom, tenderness, intelligence, or even a quiet rebellion, we feel irresistibly drawn. But this isn't a conscious attraction. It's a calling from the unconscious, urging us toward the one who reflects a part of ourselves waiting to awaken. For example, a person who has always lived with discipline, restraint, and emotional reserve might feel mesmerized by someone who lives freely and passionately and expresses emotions effortlessly. It's not that this person is more attractive than others. It's that they embody the forgotten spark buried within the observer. They become a living mirror, reflecting untapped potential, a soul fragment yearning to be rediscovered. Imagine yourself as a dry, barren garden. You have the soil, the seeds, the sunlight, but no water. One day someone arrives like a cool stream. They are not your source of life, but they bring what you were missing. Their presence activates the dormant ground within, and suddenly your inner garden begins to bloom. And so, when someone falls for you, they fall for the feeling of being nourished, awakened, and illuminated by your presence. When love turns into dependence, the danger arises when they don't realize that what they see in you actually exists within themselves. If that realization never comes, they begin to depend on you like an emotional lifeline. They don't love you, they need you to feel less incomplete. This is often why passionate relationships burn out so quickly. When you represent what the other lacks, they idolize you, but unconsciously expect you to maintain that savior image forever. You stop being a real person, you become a symbol. And as Jung warned, whenever you become someone's unconscious image, you become an illusion. As soon as you begin to express parts of yourself that don't match the projected ideal, when you get tired, imperfect, or no longer meet their imagined strength, you become disillusioned. They'll say you've changed, that you're not the same anymore, when in truth, you're simply being real. And when the illusion breaks, so does the projected love, becoming aware of what you represent. So what should we do? Jung offered two powerful insights. If you are the one in love, ask yourself, what is it about this person that deeply moves me? Is it something I've always longed for within myself? Are they representing a part of me that I've forgotten or never nurtured? If so, don't just admire them. Use them as a mirror to reflect and cultivate that quality within yourself. If you are the one being loved, don't become arrogant. Don't assume their love means you are flawless. Observe what you may represent in them and set boundaries. You are not obligated to maintain anyone's idealized image of you. You have the right to be tired, flawed, messy, to simply be you. Reflective practice. 3 questions to break the illusion. Do I love this person for who they are, or for how they make me feel about myself? What part of me have they awakened that I may have lost? Can I grow that quality within myself without depending on them? People don't fall in love with your looks or talent. They fall in love with what you awaken inside them. And if you don't understand this, you may find yourself trapped in someone else's idealized version of who you're supposed to be. True love isn't admiration, it's mirroring, a sacred recognition of what's missing, and the desire to evolve because of it. And so, perhaps the greatest gift you can offer isn't holding on to someone, but inspiring them to return to the parts of themselves they once abandoned. When love becomes an awakening, no one is lacking, only 2 souls growing side by side. 2. You awaken their inner archetype. Carl Jung called it anima and animus, the deep archetypal images rooted within the unconscious of every human being. According to him, each person is born carrying an unconscious blueprint of the opposite gender, an internal image shaped during early childhood through parental relationships, symbolic impressions, collective myths, religious archetypes, and inherited cultural memories. And the anima is the idealized feminine image embedded in a man's unconscious. And an animus is the idealized masculine figure residing in a woman's psyche. These images are not created by conscious thought. They are woven from the fabric of the collective unconscious, shaping our emotions and preferences in love beneath the surface of awareness. And then one day, you walk into their life. You don't try too hard. You're not the most perfect person in the room, but somehow your presence aligns precisely with their inner anima or animus. The way you smile, the light in your eyes, the tone of your voice, all of it stirs a memory that was never lived, an ancient longing they've never fully understood. They become captivated, deeply, without logic, without control. And this doesn't happen because they love you as an individual, but because their unconscious mind recognizes you as the living symbol of an image they've carried for a very long time. When the anima or animus is activated, love strikes like lightning. We call it love at first sight. Jung warned that love born from anima/animus projection tends to be deeply idealized. They're not seeing you with your layers, contradictions, vulnerabilities. They are falling for a symbol from within themselves, projected onto you like a film on a blank screen. You become a mirror reflecting their buried desires, their forgotten divinity, the shattering of the ideal. And then one day, reality knocks. You're no longer able to uphold the perfect image. You get tired, irritated, distant. You reveal your flaws, and just like that, the internal image cracks. They feel confused, disappointed, and sometimes even angry. You've changed, they say, but the truth is, you haven't changed at all. They've just begun to see who you really are. Many relationships begin with a divine intoxication and end in confusion and collapse. Not because either person is wrong, but because neither ever truly saw the other. In those early days, it wasn't 2 souls connecting. It was one person falling in love with a piece of their unconscious that you unknowingly awakened. The awakening within still, Jung never saw such relationships as mistakes. On the contrary, he believed they were sacred gateways to transformation. When the illusion dissolves, we're forced to look inward and ask, who am I really? What am I seeking in others that I haven't found in myself? What ideal am I projecting and why? This is the beginning of individuation, the path of spiritual maturity. It's the journey from illusion to truth. If someone has ever loved you this way, understand this. You were not just a romantic connection. You were a symbolic key, someone who unlocked a forgotten part of their soul. You were the portal to their transformation. And if this love is to endure, it must evolve beyond projection. From illusion to authenticity, true love begins not when we idolize, but when we see clearly. When they stop loving the idea of you and begin to love you. with your tiredness and your grace, with your shadows and your light. When they stay after seeing the whole truth, that is when love becomes real. Jung advised that we all make peace with our inner anima or animus. Name the ideals you've carried within you. Become conscious of the images you're projecting onto others, so you can stop expecting someone else to embody what only you can develop within. Because real love doesn't come from finding the perfect person. It comes from seeing the real person and daring to love them as they are. And in doing so, you'll also see yourself clearly, fully reflected in their eyes. That moment is no longer just romance, it's awakening. So if someone is falling in love with you, ask yourself, what part of them have I awakened? And in return, what part of me are they reflecting that I've never dared to face? Love is not just a feeling, it's a map, leading us back to ourselves. And people fall in love with you because you are the door they've been waiting to open. According to Carl Jung, love is not an external event. It is an inner journey. A true relationship is not merely a place where two people find each other, it's where they find themselves reflected through the presence of the other. The deepest kind of love doesn't arise from perfection, but from this quiet recognition. I see myself in you, and I'm brave enough to love both you and the part of me you awaken. Personally, I believe that once you understand that someone may love you because you represent what they lack, or because you awaken an unconscious image within them, love no longer feels like a random occurrence. It becomes the result of two souls meeting at the right moment. One carries the key, the other, the door. In the end, true love is not about finding the perfect person. It's about finding the one who helps you become whole. The one who, through love, teaches you to see yourself clearly. There's not just the light, but also the shadows, the wounds, the unfinished parts, and to stop running from them. If this message stirred something within you, feel free to leave a comment and share your story. You might just inspire someone else along their own path. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more deep content on psychology, identity, and inner growth. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, send it to them. Because sometimes one timely message can change an entire journey.